This week, Big4.com brings you a full complement of recent news from KPMG. These stories include KPMG findings that there are increased budgets for market expansion despite market woes, a report that internal combustion engines are not going away anytime soon, KPMG's 10 megaforces that will significantly affect corporate growth globally over the next 2 decades, the firm's global summit, which generated key recommendations for sustainable business. Kofor Peach Business Tracker shows business in UK pubs and restaurants slowing. And finally, an analysis which shows that latest proposals could reduce FATCA costs for the global insurance industry by $3 billion. Each week, Big Four covers key news, events, happenings, opinions, and blogs relating to all the Big Four accounting and consulting firms. You can view this video on our website and on Big Four's channel on YouTube. Please contact us at big4@big4.com or 866-690-5050 for advertising on this video or specially featuring your news. Also, place your job opportunities on the Big Four job board. So let's start with this week's roundup of the top news. According to KPMG's annual Consumer CFO survey, over 80% of all respondents believe marketing to new middle-class consumers in emerging high-growth markets will drive long-term success. KPMG's 2012 Consumer CFO survey, Turning Global Risk into Opportunity, surveyed 350 financial executives, 34 from Canada, in the retail, consumer goods and manufacturing, and luxury goods sectors. Key survey findings include Canada and the U.S. expected to offer greatest growth potential in 2012 supply chain efficiencies, a priority for Canadian consumer companies, leveraging the power of digital for consumer engagement, a top trend. Sustainable practices evolve as a core business issue around the world. A new KPMG study, Expect the Unexpected, Building Business Value in a Changing World, explores issues such as climate change, energy and fuel volatility, water availability, and cost and resource availability, as well as population growth spawning new urban centers. The analysis examines how these global forces may impact business and industry, calculates the environmental costs to business, and calls for business and policymakers to work more closely to mitigate future business risk and act on opportunities. The KPMG research finds that the external environmental costs, which today are often not shown on financial statements of 11 key industry sectors, jumped 50% from $566 to $846 billion in 8 years. KPMG's 13th annual Global Automotive Executive Survey finds that while the industry continues to weigh the benefits and challenges of various electrified fuel technologies, the ownership of the e-component space, battery management and chemistry, power electronics, e-motors, battery cells and packs, etc., will draw intense competition among original equipment manufacturers, OEMs, and suppliers. 54% of respondents said that electric component suppliers will gain a bigger role by 2025, and 40% of respondents predict that OEMs will lead in that area in addition to traditional powertrain technologies. Here are the latest jobs from the Big Four job board. See the site for more details. Recommendations were released recently from KPMG's Business Perspective on Sustainable Growth, preparing for Rio+20 Global Summit. Summit attendees agreed to the recommendations as part of the meeting's goal of providing business input to Rio+20, the upcoming global policy summit in June. Ivo de Boer, KPMG's Special Global Advisor on Climate Change and Sustainability, noted that the meeting's findings included near-unanimous recommendations for Rio+20. Among them, policy leaders should provide long-term, stable, and transparent policy frameworks and incentives to scale up investment in sustainable development. The Kofor Peach Business Tracker, the industry sales monitor for the UK pub and restaurant sector, collects monthly performance data from 23 major operators. The indicator showed a few characteristics in its recent report, including Eating out slows in January after bumper December. Like-for-like sales down 2% on 2011. Leading UK pub and restaurant groups saw collective like-for-like sales fall 2.1% in January, against the same month last year, although total sales, which include the effect of new openings, were still ahead 2.2% on January 2011. Rob Land, insurance tax partner at KPMG, recently commented on the fact that UK insurers' hopes that they may have been excluded from the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act (FATCA) regime have been dashed by last week's release of proposed regulations from the IRS. He said the FATCA challenge will remain a significant and complex one for the insurance industry, with many products still within scope. However, he felt there are nevertheless reasons to be positive. The good news, according to Land, came from the fact that UK insurers should be deemed compliant foreign financial institutions, FFIs, if an agreement is reached between the UK and US governments as indicated in their joint statement. This has been Melissa with your Big Four Weekly News. I'll see you next time.